set that thing up. See, there's somebody painting a room in your house and you don't even know it. There's somebody designing the perfect car and it's going to have your name on it. I just want you to understand that there are things being set up for you in the spirit that you don't even know. I talked about how, from a restoration perspective with City Classic Cars, how this great football player called. A great football player came by it's been a few weeks now. Earl Campbell comes by. We have the contract to do his car. But in the discussion, here's what he said. I called you Friday and you didn't answer. Back in my mind, I said we were closed. I called you Saturday, you didn't answer. And I said, man, I ain't calling them folk back. That's what he told me. I ain't calling them folk back. But then Monday, some say, call them back. We missed the call Friday, shadows. We missed the call Saturday, shadows. And the call say, I must call back Monday, shadows. And that's when we caught the call Monday. I want you to know there's a blessing trying to come your way. It just ain't delivered yet. I want you to know that God's working this thing out in the blessing. There are packages headed to you. It's just not delivered yet. God has a great blessing over your life. God has something amazing. And I hope I'm smiling when I'm saying this stuff. Sometimes when I'm a little fatigued, I might not smile. But I want to smile big because I want you to know that God is working it out for you in the shadows of life. And you ought to shout about that. See, old folks used to feel good and believe God. They didn't even know how God was going to do it. They just knew he was going to do it. They didn't know how he was going to work it out, how the finances were going to be paid, how the bills were going to be paid, how the relationship was going to work out. They didn't know anything. They just stayed the course because they believed in their theological being that somebody higher was working it out for them. And I want you to know God's working out for you. So I want you to see Jesus in these shadows, man. You got to see him. See, the Old Testament serves as an antitype of Jesus. See, when you read the Old Testament, Jesus appears in shadows and in types. So when you look there, you see Jesus. In the New Testament, he unfolds himself. He goes from the shadows and he steps into the spotlight. But I want you to know he was always there. Over there in John chapter 1, it says what? In the beginning was the Word. And it talks about how Jesus is God, how Jesus was there in the beginning, how Jesus created the earth, and how Jesus is here now, and how Jesus is going to be here in the future. So I want you to see this historic Jesus that walked the dusty pages of this life, went up on a cross, died, went in a tomb, and now we're going to the Holy Land to try to find where he is. I want you to know, like the angel said, he's not here, he's arisen. I want you to know that Jesus is involved in your life. Jesus is involved in your story. Over there in Romans chapter 8, verse 28, hey, it says this thing like this. All things work together for you got to see that thing. See, the reason it works out for the good, because you got somebody over there working it out for you. See, there's nothing you can do to hinder the purpose of God in your life. Nothing you can do that will negate the promise of God in your life. And what I mean by that is, certainly we can use our human will to say we're not going to walk in his promise. We can use our human will to say we're not going to pursue the things of God. But we're not going to change God's purpose for our lives. God's plan for your life is your plan for your life. God's purpose for your life is his purpose for your life. And as long as your will is to be who God says you be, then you can always fulfill your purpose in this life. It's never too late. It's never too bad for God. All God is looking for. Over there in the Old Testament, it says, if my people who are called by my name. See, they were having problems. if my people who are called by my name and all these problems and these tough situations, having these undesired consequences over their lives, if my people will humble themselves, seek my face, and pray, then you'll hear from heaven. I don't want you to stop. I don't want you to give up. I want you to understand that he has been in the shadows the entire time. And all he's trying to get you and I to do is to say, I submit. Father God, I submit. I'm tired. I'm frustrated. And he just wants you to go down, and I submit. I'm done. That's it. I'm done. And you'll see him come from those shadows. You'll feel that hand upon your shoulder. And you'll feel not your human power anymore, but you'll feel what? The power of God picking you up like you've never been up before. Amen. That's all he's doing. He's just trying to get us to say, I submit. So I want you to know that Jesus is in your situation. Jesus is here with Joshua. He tells him, there shall not any man be able to stand before thee all the days of thy life. That's a powerful statement. You got to see Jesus in the scripture would be my second point. You got to change your mindset. I have to change my mindset. Here's what happened. There are 3 salvations. Y'all want to hear about them? Now, some people in a more charismatic theology, sometimes they get them confused. But here's what you got to see. And so the scripture is going to fall in one of these places. I want you to see this theology. Number 1, when you are saved, your spiritual man becomes new. It's done. It's new. It can't get any newer. It's new. You are different. That's what Nicodemus said you must be. That's what born again means. Your spiritual nature is new. Your spiritual identity in God is new. It's different. And you become right with him. Then there's a continual saving. There's a daily saving. Say you can lose your salvation. There's a daily saving. And this can go up. This can go down. This can go to the left. This can go to the right. And the other salvation that we want to talk about is the salvation of our thinking. The salvation of our soulless being. And when you see the theology and the study of the soul, it talks about the will, the emotive man, and it talks about what? The thinking man. And so if you went to the party every night for the last 10 years and you get saved tonight, now you know that party's still in there, don't you? The party didn't get saved, you got saved. But the party's still in there, am I right or wrong? You know how it go. If you was using certain type of language over the last 10 years and you get saved tonight, you do not get a new vocabulary instantly. Hit your hand with that hammer and see what comes out. Oh, what a preacher. I mean, you know. See, that's not change right then. All of your dreams and desires and goals that you already have, that's not going to change right then. How you date, you just got saved yesterday. Now, you've been dating this way for 20 years. You know, you think it's going to change tonight, huh? No. You have to learn new information. And the mind has these super passages. They're like highways. You have your conscious mind, your subconscious mind. And so your subconscious mind makes these highways. And the more certain knowledge and certain information comes through our being that we embrace, it goes from a dirt road to a paved road. From a paved road to a 2-lane highway. You just keep working on that road of information. It goes from a 2-lane highway to the Beltway 8. It goes from Beltway 8 to I-10. You know what I'm trying to say? And that's your path. That's what you know. And there's an entire series of connected roads and junctions that are all centered around this certain way of thinking. And the thinking pivots this way and pivots that way and pivots that way. And what God has to do, he has to slowly tear down these roads. And as he tears down these roads, he has to build new pathways to follow. And I want you to know that that process takes time. So he tells Joshua, there shall not any man be able to stand before thee all the days of their life. A pretty good sermon. Verse 7, only be strong and very courageous, that thou mayest observe to do according to the law which Moses my servant commanded thee. Turn not from it to the right hand or to the left, that thou mayest prosper whatsoever thou goest. 8, this book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night. Why do I need to meditate therein day and night if you've already given me the promise? What I need to meditate for? Now, you've already spoken the promise over my life. You've already shared that no man can be able to, will stand against me. So why do I need to meditate therein day and night? Because you need to believe it. See, faith is about us. It ain't God. It's your belief in God. That's faith. Your belief that God is going to do a thing in your life and in your situation. God already has decided to do it. He's just waiting on you. It's like having money in the ATM, but you don't know the pin to your car. Well, how you going to get the money out? But the money is there waiting on you, just looking back at you. Wrong pin. And that's what God is saying. Wrong pen, wrong scripture, wrong word, wrong theology, wrong way of thinking. If we can get the right mindset, it's like a key that unlocks the blessings of God in our lives. So you have to see Jesus in the scripture. I want you to see him in the shadow, but you got to see him in the scripture. You got to find out what your story is. What's going on in your life, and find Jesus. So here's what I want you to do. Here's a little tool for you. Number one, tell me who you used to be. Find it in the scripture who you used to be. Jacob, man, I put that up. Who you used to be. Not Israel now. I ain't say Israel. Jacob. You go to class, you get that one a little later. Jacob. I've been doubting Thomas. Yeah, been downtown. I definitely been Peter. Boy, I'm going to cut your ear off. Keep messing with me now. Who have you been? Yeah. You coming to get Jesus? I'm going to cut that ear off now. I'm going to get you. You ain't getting my Jesus. And I'm ready to fight for Jesus in the natural. And Jesus said, I want you to fight for me in the spirit. I don't need you to throw no blow. Man, I'm finna get it in the natural. Jacob, I want you to fight in the spirit. I'm going to fight in the natural. See? And I've been there in my life. So I want you to find out who you been in the Bible. Because what you're going to find is you ain't that bad. Other folks have done worse than you. Who have you been? There's some rough folk in the Bible, man. And when people, as you move to become Joshua, as you move to become who God has called you to be, what happens in your thinking is not even the external people. What Satan will do is oppress upon your mind who you used to be, how you behaved last year, one bad night in your life. And Satan will seek to use that as an identifier of who you are. So the best way to respond to that, I told you Jesus is in scripture. Get you that story. Get you that story of who been in trouble.